All right, we'll get started. Let's start with introductions. And I can't think of anything better than what is your word for the day for you. So I guess we'll do that. So I'm Jennifer at ASCA, and my word for today is busy. I feel very busy today. So who wants to go next? I'm going to go across my top of my screen as they appear to me. So guess what, Kaylee, you're first.
My word for the day is excited. We have our second day of practice, but we also have possible bad weather. So who knows if we'll actually get in or not.
Where are you located?
Illinois.
Illinois. Okay. Yeah, I heard there's bad weather coming through. Okay. Good luck.
Sorry.
Patty?
My word for the day is successful habits. This week, our theme at practice is creating habits for success. 90% of what we do is habits. So we want to instill in the kids all those habits they do automatically that'll make them successful.
I love that. Cool. Mackenzie?
Good morning or afternoon. My word for the day is productive. Thanks to my children, was up early, but was able to be productive with my time and feeling excited about that. Have a full day ahead and productive. I got to work on the icebreaker last night that we talked about for the women's thing. So feeling good. Productivity.
Yay. All right, good. I love it. Edie?
Hi, Edie Dean. I'm from Central Illinois. Word for today, I want to say even kill because like Kylie, she's north of me for about 2 hours, but it's really sunny here. And it's good for the past couple of days to have sunshine from the winter. So I just feel really good because the sun is out and it's such a nice day outside.
Isn't it amazing how the weather can affect your attitude for the day? Okay. Diana?
Hi. I'm just gonna go with happy. It's kind of my word for the week. I got married on Saturday.
What?
So I'm still feeling the bliss from that. So yeah, my new name on my Zoom.
I love that. Oh my gosh, congratulations. Coach Mary?
Hi, sorry, what the question?
Oh, okay. You just jumped on. Just your name and what team and what's your word for the day for you to describe your
Okay.
day?
So my name is Mary, and I'm in the head coach of the seniors for RMSC swim coach in Rockville, Montgomery County, Maryland. And the word for the day, I think, working hard. It's something I'm really trying this week for my kids, at least.
Yeah, good. Love it. Winky?
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, my word is excited because I just had a swimmer make Olympic trials for the first time this last weekend. So
That's awesome. Good for
yeah.
you. Your son?
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. All right, we'll see you there.
Yeah. I'm excited.
You'll have to come by the coaches hub.
I will.
Good, good, good. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Okay, cool. Anna?
Juggling. Just a lot going on.
Juggling. Yeah, I can relate. Joanna?
I'm Johanna Slazeman. I'm with Swim Tulsa, and my word for the day is running behind.
Running behind?
Yes. Trying to get home right now.
I gotcha. All right, cool. Emma?
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm with the Wilton YMCA Wahoos in Connecticut. And I don't want to brag, but my word of the day is relieved. Our season hasn't started yet, so I am still in a break, and it is a much needed break.
Good for you. I hope you're enjoying your R&R. We all need to make sure we take it. Rachel.
Hi, I'm from Rockford, Illinois, so kind of north central Illinois. And my word for the day is improvement. We are in week 2 of stroke clinics, which is also, it's always a really fun time.
Good. See lots of improvement. Wow. Is that 3 people from Illinois so far? Hopefully you all have decent weather. Meredith.
My word is let's go. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
It's just a go, go, go kind of week. And got my taxes done. So happy.
Good.
Yeah.
Hopefully by yesterday.
Yep, yesterday.
Okay.
So it's just one of those go, go, goes. I do a lot of contract coaching, and one of my contracts is with the Oahu Club. I do a lot of private coaching and open water coaching, and I float around a lot. I just make opportunities, but yeah, just basically coach in Hawaii and coach pro through beginner level. So
Cool.
yeah,
Yep.
thanks.
We're going to talk about the WIMSIM here in a second, which you were part of yesterday, that meeting. Okay, DJ.
Hi, I'm the head coach of the Webster Bluefins. I think we're near Rochester, New York, Webster, New York. I think my word of the day is grateful. I'm extremely grateful for a 35-year teaching career, and I'm 40 years in coaching, which is a job that there's nothing better to do than that. So I'm happy to be working with our kids every single day. Sometimes overwhelmed with the role and the tasks of a head coach, but I'm getting there with that stuff. But nothing can beat this job. So grateful every single day.
That's awesome. I love that. Haley.
Hi, I'm Haley. I'm the assistant head coach of Piranha Swim Club in Minneapolis, Minnesota. My word of the day is gloomy. It's very dark. It's very rainy. There's a lot of thunder happening around me. That's my primary focus as I run around between meetings.
Okay. Hopefully your pool is indoors. I would think it would be, right?
Yes, thank goodness.
Okay, good. Okay, Olga. Oh, she's still connecting. You there, Olga? We see you. You're on mute. I think she might have frozen. Nope. Okay, I'm going to move on for a sec.
I'm
while you-
sorry, I just
Oh, there you
came a
are.
bit late.
So introduce yourself and tell us the word for the day for you.
Hi everyone, I'm from Belarus. I am like 2 years now. I'm in Tallahassee, working in a local swim club, United Swim Club, and I'm really grateful that you make this community, and I learn a lot from this.
Good, great. Hey, Rose, introduce yourself and tell us your word for today.
My name is Rose Chelowinski. I'm the program director for Swim America in Davis, California. And the word for the day is busy in a good way.
That's my word. You didn't even know that.
I didn't know
that was my word.
Yeah. It's a good busy though, right?
It's a good busy, yeah. All right, Renata, you're up.
Well, mine was going to be busy, but I guess it's
Oh,
not going to
okay.
be anymore.
Well, we
So
can
I'll just
share.
say pushed.
Fine.
I'm pushed. I've got a lot going on. It's a good place to be.
And you are, real quick, we're going to go back to you for your
Yeah.
full introduction, but you are.
I'm with Your Sports Resource.
Yep. Cool. Let's see, Mary, I think we didn't get you yet, right? Or did we?
No, I already.
Oh, yeah, we did. Yes. Okay. Turn your camera. Okay. Anybody we missed that logged in? I think we got everyone. Okay, cool. All right. So let me share real quick the agenda for today. And then we'll move on to our guest speaker. You know, I always think it's going to be so easy. Here we go. Okay, welcome introductions we've done. I'm going to give you, and our committee is going to give you an update on the WIMSIM, which is the Women's Symposium that's happening on September 4th in Orlando. Talk about the hub that's happening at Trials and the women's gatherings we're doing there. We're going to then turn it over to Renata to be our guest speaker for today. So for those of you who haven't been on for the last few months, we've been doing a guest speaker for a short period of time during all of our monthly calls now. And the whole idea here is that it sparks everyone to engage in the conversation, share ideas, share common experiences. I think it's worked well. It gives us something to bounce off of and talk about our shared experiences. So that's what Renata will be doing today. And then that should take us through the hour. But as always, at the if we have time left on the hour in the call, we're open to people to, you know, share things that they want to share, get input or ask for input, or that's why we're here, to support each other. So that is the agenda. I will start here with the WIMSIM now. So ladies who were on the call yesterday, please chime in. We had a work group meeting yesterday of the subgroup of this group that is planning the Women's Symposium. That's really starting to get very exciting. For September 4th, it's the first day of World Clinic. It's all day on Wednesday leading up to the kickoff of World Clinic that is that night. So I'm not going to do all the talking. Who wants to chime in here? Mackenzie or who was on that call? I don't. Haley? Meredith?
Yeah, I
Oh.
can get just a little bit of kind of what we talked about yesterday, but I'm sure I'll miss things. So we were able to go through the agenda and kind of how we were going to spend the day and looking at different blocks of time and how we can kind of use everybody's energy throughout the day in different ways, whether it's like we're just all arriving and everybody's getting to know each other, or it's later in the day and we've established some relationships with people at our table, to break off into small groups and feel confident and comfortable talking about some kind of prompted topics throughout the day. The logistics seem to be totally just getting crushed by Jennifer. She's got it all typed up and ready to go. The speakers are lined up. There's one question mark on somebody, but I'll let them say if that's going to come to fruition. But I guess there's already people signed up. I would encourage you guys to start asking anybody in your coaching circle, just it doesn't have to be anything huge and formal, just a text. Hey, did you see that this is happening? Just to kind of plant the seed since registration's open. And if anybody's like me, they're maybe dragging their feet on committing to things, or they're just not in that mental space to be planning 4 months out, but encourage them to do so, because there's some amazing women that are already working on making that day fantastic for you guys. The speakers are, I'm sure, working hard. So that's my 2 cents.
Thanks, Mackenzie. Yeah, so just to kind of reiterate some of the logistics, we actually decided on the call to start earlier since we have so much to pack into the day. So it'll be 8:30 to 3. The cost to attend is $150. It includes lunch that will be brought in at the hotel, so that we can all stay together and maximize the time together. The speakers that are lined up are Abby Liu from Bellevue Aquatics Swim Club, Carol Capitani, University of Texas head women's coach, Mika Shaw, who is a mindfulness coach, former national team athlete, also an open water athlete, but her profession now is in mindfulness training. So she's going to be there to speak and do some mindfulness actual practice. And then there is the lovely Renata, who is joining us today. So you'll get a taste of that today, but Renata is going to be there to help moderate a very interesting and interactive panel among the participants there. And also, in addition to that, our female board members, Ask board members, will be engaged as well. And that's what Mackenzie referred to earlier. They're working on a icebreaker in the morning. So Mackenzie is one of our board members, and Ellen Johnston, who just texted me that she, unfortunately, she might jump on, but she's not on at the moment. She apologizes, but Ellen Johnston is another of our board members, and then Emily Molina as well. So our 3 female board members will be there as well to help kind of moderate throughout the day. Did I miss anything? Anybody who is on the work group, or does anybody have any questions? All right. Very good. We see, Mackenzie, we were just that good. Okay, so the other exciting thing that we're doing that came out of this group is that we are adding on to our hub at Olympic Trials, women's coffees. So there will be a women's coffee on Sunday morning and Wednesday morning. I think I have that right. Check that. Let me double back on confirming that. But we picked 2 mornings to do women's coffee. So let me explain what the hub is. The ASCA hub is going to be a meeting room that's right across the street from Lucas Oil Stadium, where they're building the pool. It's incredibly short walk over to a meeting room there that will be open all day long from 9 in the morning till 8 o'clock when finals start, and serving snacks and drinks. So coffee in the morning, well, coffee all day long, but snacks throughout the day. And then in between prelims and finals, there's going to be a talk on most days, an educational talk. So we have, we just confirmed Bruce Gemmell. We have Russell doing a talk. We have Bruce Gemmell. We have Greg Troy doing a talk one day. We have Abby Fish doing a talk one day. We have Solomon D'Amico, who's Lydia Jacoby's club coach from Alaska, doing a talk one day. And we're still filling in some of the other days. So there'll be a really interesting talk every day from 2 to 3 in between, like I said, in between prelims and finals. And then also Russell Mark will be there doing video race analysis from 3 to 5 every day in 15-minute slots. Coaches who have athletes at trials can bring race video over or access it there with him. And you can even bring your athlete too. And he will do what he used to do for USA Swimming with all the national team athletes, where he would pull, right after their races, he literally had an iPad there at the deck and he would go over their races with them. He's going to be providing that in our room at the Coaches Hub for any coach that wants to come over and get his analysis of the race. So that's a really cool service that we're offering free of charge to ASCA members. The whole thing actually is we're not going to charge for it. We're making it a benefit for ASCA members. So incredible resources that, that are going to be available to you. We are trying to get sponsors for each day, and it's looking good. Like there's a lot of companies that want to help sponsor this. So it's just going to work out great. It's going to be a great partnership and a great service for anyone who's in the area. Not just if you have athletes there, but if you're just coming to watch and whatever, or you're in the area, come on over and hang out. It'll just be a hangout all day long. And then another bonus part is we're going to do a little pregame before finals each night. So we'll have some libations available for those folks. Not the working coaches, but the ones who are going to observe can participate in that. And so it's just going to be a great place for great, camaraderie and networking. And so the women's coffees are going to be on those 2 days, yet to be confirmed, but I think Sunday and Wednesday. Before we open at 9, it'll be only women from 8 to 9 on those mornings, women only. So be sure to come, or be sure to tell any females that are there to come by so that we can make this a success. It'll be a time for women only to network and share some coffee and share some support and camaraderie. Yeah, go ahead, Meredith.
I was going to say, I'm super excited, but one thing I just wanted to mention, because I know we have so many backgrounds on these Zooms and so many different levels of coaching, is just the reason that it is so important and so exciting that this is the first time that we're having women's type of initiatives at all is that I don't want this to get lost, that at the elite levels of coaching, there are maybe 10% that are women, and we are beyond a minority, and we have so many little issues, and we need the support, and we need some visibility. And I'm so excited, and I really hope that the word is spread that just, if you're a lady, come by, because this is huge. This is really special, and I hope this is just the start of things that just get better and better and better. But I'm just so excited because I encourage the coaches to start looking around. Like I've been blessed to coach at NCAAs and things like that, and it is shocking when there are, say, 200 men there and there are less than 20 ladies. So I hope people can start opening their eyes, even at Olympic trials, and start seeing, oh, who's actually on deck, who is a girl, who is a lady. But yeah, I'm just so excited. I can't wait. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Meredith. I have to say, I'm getting a lot of emails. I mean, those of you who are jumping on this call every month, but in addition to that, emails and, coaches are talking to me on deck that similar to what you're saying, Meredith, that they're just really excited that there's something for female coaches, and they're really encouraged by it. Even if they can't get on these meetings every month, they just want to connect in one way or another. And so, hopefully, as we do different things and try to make things available, whether it's in person or virtually or whatever, we'll just keep, that's what we're here for. Like, come up with the ideas and we'll try to make them happen. And that's how all these ideas happen, by the way. It was from this group, as you all many of you were there on that very first meeting. Like, we're just getting together to brainstorm. What can we do? And out of that came these monthly meetings, the coffees at Olympic trials, the coffees at some of the bigger meets that we've done. Winky, you were at one of those. I know a few of you. I've met at those very coffees in hospitality rooms at some of the meets. So we're just, we'll figure out what works, and we'll just keep trying new things. And yeah, I think it's really going to grow. I feel like we've really hit on something that's needed in our community. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce Renata, who many of you know. Renata, you've been on this call before, right? Yeah, weren't you on last month? Maybe.
I did the live last month with Abby, and I didn't know.
Yes.
Was that part of this call? Okay.
No, that wasn't this call, but that is true. That's
Okay.
probably what I'm thinking of. Renata was part of our Women's History Month Ask Alive, where she was a great contributor on a panel. Renata is a great partner of ASCA. She's got a great business that she can tell you more about, but we partner with her. We actually have a benefit that if any ASCA member wants to get advice consultation from her for an hour, related to, you'll learn more about her as she talks, but she does a lot of the dry side consulting for clubs, and she, swim clubs are her clientele. So she's an expert on board communications among your staff, anything related to strategic planning, just supporting the structure of your club and the operations of your club. She just has a plethora of information and experience in that. So I highly recommend her. And like I said, there's an Ask a benefit that as a member, free of charge, you can do a consultation with her. Renata, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen real quick. You guys let me know if you can see that.
Yep.
Everybody good? Okay. Can you hear me okay as well?
Yes.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. So, well, I won't go too deep into, okay, sorry, I forgot to even say what the hell I'm talking about. So I'm going to talk about getting the job you want. And this can be if you are moving or looking to move to a new organization, if you want to move up in the organization. And it's also good for those of you who actually own or lead your club, so you can understand how to better interview and what you should be looking for prospective coaches. So yeah, I don't know if I really want to add on to what Jen said. Jen gave me a great intro. Thank you for that. Basically, I'm working on the dry side of the house, except there might be a little bit of a gray line in leadership practices with coaches and how they conduct meetings, how they do upskilling and making sure that their staff are being elevated and feel valued. Do a lot of culture work, a lot of board training, a lot of operational design, and solving a lot of problems. So usually that's when people run to me, is when they're having issues running their business. But I love what I do, former swimmer, and I love every minute of what I do. You can always find more on the website, yoursportsresource.com. Okay, so really quickly, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time, but I want to talk about, you going through your objectives of what you want to learn and know, and then what kind of research should you be doing? What does preparation look like? And then I want to talk about what questions you should be asking, because this is the area where a lot of people get in trouble because they go into an organization without properly asking questions about board leadership, about head coach leadership. And so I want to talk to you a bit about that. Okay. So you can't really understand what kind of job you're going to if you don't sit down and have a conversation with yourself and understand what you want for yourself. So, and this is something that people don't typically do. They just know that they want a new job, or they want to run from where they are, right? So they just go and apply scattershot. But I think what I want to get across today is that you really need to understand what you want for your future. Okay. So what role do you want? What roles are you open to? And how do you want to advance in your career? Like, what is your personal long-term professional goal? What values or cultural aspects are important to you? And then your preferences, like what's your salary range? Where do you want to live? What type of club? And what size of program, and even performance. There are clubs that are high achievers in performance. There are clubs that have a recreational program now, as well as the performance. And then there's clubs that are mainly recreational. So for you, you need to decide what you are looking for. Now, most people will skip this step, as I've already said, but this really informs how you prepare for the interview and what kind of questions you're going to ask at the end of the interview. The next step is the research. So the simplest is first, and that is do an online search. So look at the history of the club or the university program. Understand their culture and their values of the organization. These are also often reflected in the mission or vision statements and core values that are shared on their website. If you don't see those on there, that's a good indicator that it's not front and center, or it's front and center, but they didn't put it out for everybody to see. Check recent news and articles, interviews, and publications for insights to really their current dynamics and their future directions. It's one thing, you guys know, you've been on a website where it looks like it's just an absolute mess, right? And then there's sometimes where it's really structured, it's really organized, and you can even see that their board or their leadership, if it's a coach-run team, that they have some strategic items on what they're going for on there. So when you do this search, keep in mind that most of this is what the org or the university wants you to see, right? Unless it's on SwimSwam. So, but you can glean a lot from the website. Again, is it organized? What are the size of the programs? What type of performance? Do they have strong staff, vision, and values? And also look to see if they have the things that you are interested in. For example, if you really want to be involved in an organization that has a large community outreach, well, that is something that you should be looking for in your online search. And you wouldn't have known that had you sat down and decided what your objectives are. Okay. Another part of the research is ask around and use a variety of questions, right? So ask your peers, ask people in this group, ask people in your LSC, or just any contacts that you have. And you can ask in a way that makes it seem like you're just kind of being nosy and not looking for a new job, right? So ask about the head coach or other coaches, ask about their board. Ask what people think about how they relate with each other when you see them on deck at meets, okay? Keep in mind that this is just people offering their opinion, but if you trust that person, then you're really getting a really good insight. Or if you're hearing some of the same similar things, like a thread between everybody you ask, then you're really getting some good positive detail, or negative detail, but positive for you to make a good decision. Research the coaches, kind of, it plays into, you know, that numbers 1 and 2, but you should look up the coaches and understand their background. It'll give you insight into their hiring practices, right? So you could see if, you know, their higher level coaches are experienced or inexperienced. That's a good indicator of the club. And lastly, when you're at meets, and I recognize that, like, if you're like right now is a really good time to be searching and going through the process, because by the time you go through the interviews and go through the negotiations, and if you're hired, that'll end at the end of the season in July, right? And it's a good transition time. But so you may not have much time to pay attention on deck, right? But watching how other teams interact with each other on deck is a huge indicator on leadership ability and culture. So, and, you know, if you're not going to leave for a year from now, maybe pay attention to, you know, over the next year, right? If you are a leader in your organization, pay attention to how your own coaches are interacting with each other and interacting with the swimmers and parents on deck. I mean, these are seriously really good. That's a really good way to judge what the culture is like for an organization. And you can even go so far, let's say you're in Virginia, if you're looking at a job in California, contact somebody out there and talk to them about, hey, can you go to this meet and pay attention to how these guys are behaving on deck. Okay. I think that number 4 is a huge key window into a club's true behavior and culture. All right. So how do you prepare, right? Common sense, tailor your resume not only for the job, but highlighting the skills that you have that match their job description, okay? But I would also reiterate what you've learned through your research, right? So for example, if you see their values and you really resonate with your values, either add it in your resume or add it in your cover letter. I think, you know, those kinds of statements tell people that you are thoughtful in your approach in who you're looking to move to. I would also include things like your coaching philosophy, and if you believe the organization can help you reach your goals. Now, I wouldn't overwhelm them by listing out all your goals, but you understand what I mean. Like, you can kind of tailor it to make sure that you're meeting what they're looking for, but also give you a really good insight of who you are as a coach instead of just that simple bulleted resume. Okay, so the next is interview prep. So quite honestly, you know, they're going to ask you technical questions. So prepare some relevant thoughts and stories on technique, change in stroke, getting difficult concepts across. Okay. And the reason why I tell you to create stories is that for me, when I'm interviewing coaches for clients, I go for situational questions, right? Tell me about a time when. I want real examples. Right? If you aren't asked situational questions, which I would imagine that a lot of head coaches are not going to ask those kinds of questions. Boards might, but a head coach may not ask you that question. I would still reply with stories, because stories show your process, like your mental process, how you break things down and how you methodically solve problems. Okay. It always means more when you can say, I had this time with a parent that had X and this is how I solved Y. Those mean more than going, oh yes, my communication is great. Hopefully that makes sense. Again, common sense, but not done too often. Okay. All right. Don't be afraid to not have experience. I just want to give you a clue on how to handle that situation. Not everybody knows every skill, has every ability. Okay. So don't be caught off guard by not being able to answer a question. Okay. So what you could do is you could say, I don't have experience in that, but this is how I would handle this situation. Okay. And also, if you fumble on a question, that's okay if you've just fumbled on one that came out of the blue. All right. Don't let it ruin your entire process. And bottom line is you have to practice. Practicing means that you can communicate clearly and confidently. It means you will be able to handle curveballs because the rest of your responses you've already gone through and you understand how you can adapt them to the questions that they're asking. It also means that your body language, your voice tenor and all that, they're all cues that you have confidence in who you are and what you're doing. Please do not go to an interview unprepared. I just did one this week and the coach was trying to wing it and there was a lot of buts and ums and stammers, and he may be an amazing coach, but I sure as heck didn't put him forward. Okay. So you need to practice and you need to show that you're confident in your answers and who you are. All right. The last bit, and this is the bit that people ignore. You personally need to prepare with questions, okay? And I think where a big part where a lot of coaches get themselves in trouble is they're afraid to ask the tough questions for fear that they'll be dismissed, right? But to my mind, if you don't ask the hard questions like what's your relationship with the board or what's your board's involvement, and you say yes to a job, and you get it and it's an absolute shit show, is that better than you weeding them out on your perspective? Okay. So you have to decide if you're desperate or if you're going to control the process, right? Now, you don't need to ask all of these questions, and some will apply and some won't. It depends on the structure of the club. It also depends on the structure of what role you're going for, right? If I were a head coach moving into a club, parent board run team, there'd be some board questions in there. I want to understand how they're going to work with me and what that relationship looks like. And that is the one single area where there's usually discord, and that's between coaches or the head coach and the board. So you want to make sure that you ask some really good questions there. Now, I think I'll send this presentation to Ariel and Jen, and they can send it out. But, you know, you can use these questions as examples or make your own. And this also feeds into why you need to understand your objective and you need to do your research. Okay. And that'll make these questions go a lot easier. So I'll read them real quick. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on them, but like, what is the structure of your organization? Who reports to whom? And what I'm trying to get here is I want, like, if I'm coming in as a head age group coach, I want to understand if my head coach has 30 people reporting into him or her, or have they built in layers so everyone has an opportunity for a touch point for upskilling so they can, you know, kind of feel like they are getting value and providing value. Ask them what their coaching philosophy is. What is their vision for the future of the club or the university program? Ask them a situational question. Can you give me an example of how you as the board supported the coach in a way that demonstrates a collaborative relationship? Watch them stammer, but you should ask that question. You should ask board questions. What would you consider to be your biggest success as a business to date? No, you know, there's no doubting that it's a business. It's not just some kid's sports club. So I'll put that word in there. How do you or the board navigate parent complaints? What's the promise? What's the process? Sorry. And can you tell me about the board? Who is on it? Do you feel your purposes match? What is going well? Where are there areas for improvement? Now, if you're looking at a top role, again, whatever that is, so some orgs, it's an executive director, it's the head of aquatics, it can be the CEO, or it could just be the head coach. Whatever that top job is, please do not avoid asking board questions, because again, that is where the very first point of discord comes in. Okay. And you have to know what you're walking into. So the key to asking questions is to be lighthearted and open and smile. So it shows that you are interested and open to transparency, and not that you're being judgmental and egotistical through that process. Okay. And you don't have to ask all of them at the first meeting. Like you could go through and go, okay, these are all the things that I want to know. These are the top priority for me to know in interview one. And then the other questions you could probably roll out when you go through, let's say you make it past, you're going to go to a second interview or they want to offer you a job, then you can line up those second round questions in that way. All right. That was it. It was really quick. Any questions or?
Welcome to those of you who have joined us. Hi, April.
Hey.
Hey, who else joined us? Oh, Jenny Lou, hey. So yeah, I want to just open it up for discussion. I'm hoping this will spur some discussion. I know that there has been talk in the past on the meeting about, when you're applying for a job and you're a female and maybe it's all male staff, or I think that Renata's information is like she says, it's common sense, but it's not it's not so common. So yeah, and so I'd like to open it up to anyone who wants to share about a situation or anything that you could relate to there with the points that she made.
Renata, I thought it was great. I have a general question, and that is, what do you do or how do you respond when you are asked something very inappropriate or very sexist?
Yeah,
Which I
so
have had many
you can't
times.
you can't ask me what I would say because
Okay, sorry. What would be the appropriate response?
I'm older and I'm in don't give a shit mode and will say whatever comes out of my mouth. But I guess how I would approach it if it's a question that you're like, what in the heck are you doing? Like, I would put it back to him like, what are you trying to glean from that question? What are you trying to understand from that question? And then maybe he can or she can get into the deeper root of what they're really looking for. Like, are you referring to the question you put up yesterday on our call?
No, I mean, like, to tell you the truth, I've had 1,000 inappropriate things happen over the years. One of them is, I've interviewed at Catholic universities, and sometimes I feel like, oh, you're a lady, they can ask you, like, I've been asked my views on marriage, relationships, abortion, you name it, during interviews.
Those kinds of things, I would put it back on them. What are you trying to understand by this question? Okay. If it's seriously a line crosser, I would be okay, I think we're done. You already got your answer about this organization and move on. But you need to stand up for yourself and other women and say that. So whether they've got bravado on or not, when you walk out that door, they can sit back and go, holy shit, I probably could get sued for that. Right. So they correct themselves for the next interview, but you already know that's not somebody I want to work with.
I appreciate hearing that, because I will say in 30 years, I've answered every question. I don't think I've ever not answered a question. So I love hearing that. Okay, maybe I don't need to answer every question.
Yeah, and I think that's something that you should also practice. Like if you can anticipate, like, what does this do? Like when I teach on how to have difficult conversation, part of that is anticipating like a hard left in the conversation. Like, what is the worst thing they're going to come back with me with? And I'll practice on that so I have a response just in case, right? So I think maybe doing that, maybe I should have added that to the slide. Thank you. I think that preparing for the weird hard turn is only going to help you if that comes to your face, because you won't be put on the back foot. You won't be emotional about it. You could smile right back at them and go, I don't understand what information you're trying to get to. Can you explain?
I've got one other question. So I've been in interviews, I've been offered jobs, and then we come to the money discussion. And I've been, for lack of better words, beyond lowballed. only to find out later, like, for example, that the candidate that they did hire, who was a male, was offered like triple the money. And I feel sometimes that they will throw out a number because they want to see how low they can go with the female candidate that they're selecting.
I want to be fair in saying they
Advice
do that
on
to
that?
everybody.
I
think that's a
disagree
scenario
with
that happens
but-
in general. Probably more to women than men, but I do think that on the first dance, they usually try to go, let me see how much money I can save in my budget. So I think for you, this goes back to your research and understanding what your expectations are and preparing for what the number is that you want, right?
Yeah. I mean,
So
I gave the best speech of my life. They didn't take it and I walked because
Good.
I just wasn't going to accept the money that they.
Good. And that's the
Yep.
thing that we as women, we have to get over. We have to get over not standing up for ourselves because they'll turn us down. Well, good riddance. Then you didn't go
Okay.
into an organization you don't want to be in. You're going to get there and 3 months later, you're going to go, what the hell did I do? I just moved my family across country or to another state. And this is, an absolute, this gentleman's disrespectful. I don't know if you call gentleman and disrespectful in the same sentence, but they're disrespectful. They don't value me. So I think you need to understand what your expectations are. Like if they ask you and they haven't been advertising the salary, it could be, so my research shows me, and I would do a range and I push it right back on them. My research tells me that for head coaches, this is the salary range for this state and this area. And I'm expecting upwards of,
Renata,
What
can
that
we
does-
ask
what
the range up front in the application process?
So here's my thing on that. I think that makes you look like you're a transactional individual. Okay. And that removes probably everything else that you bring to the table.
Okay.
Right. So I think if it's not visible and you go through the first interview and you don't really know, I would ask it in the first interview. That would be one of my questions to them. If they don't bring it up to you, what is the salary range? I did not see it on the job ad or the posting, right? Now, here's the thing. It goes to that negotiation thing where they don't want to show their hand. That's why I would say salary range, and then if they push it back on you, you're prepared with that range. But I would also state, I'm looking for this number. So let's say it's 35 to 45, which is low, but I'm expecting 43.5 at a minimum plus benefits. If you're not offering benefits, then I expect X. I'd
Thank
rather
you.
you close that out in the back end after they've already found out that you're an engaging individual and they really want you versus you discounting yourself before you even get the interview by asking for the pay.
Okay.
Patty has her hand up.
Hi, Patty.
I have a question. I'm courting a high-level coach who I really want to get on our team. And we've had some great discussions. And I finally just said to her, what's your number? And she can't answer me. And I'm like, what's your number? Let me see if I can make it happen because I really want you.
Yeah.
And she just can't answer me. So we're sitting here in limbo going, we're willing to go out and get the money to hire this coach who I think is super qualified, great quality, will help our program. She can't give me an answer, so it's not going to happen. So you guys,
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Again, that's not knowing and understanding and having faith in yourself, right? That's someone who's just going to run, I think. So I'm saying this without not knowing a thing about this individual. So I think help her along by going, this is the range we are thinking of. What is the number you are looking for? I think help her along in that process if you feel it's coming from a place of not having high enough self-esteem. And then that also gives you, like, if you really believe in her and her work, that gives you an idea of what you're going to need to work on skills wise for her. Because she may be an amazing coach for what you're looking for, right? But she's not a great advocate for herself, which means that she doesn't have great self-esteem. So you might need to be helping her along in that process. I think help her, just give her the range and ask her what she's thinking for. Okay.
Yeah, well, in our
I think if
initial
she's
meeting-
still afraid to commit, or she gives you like a really low number, I don't know how I would feel about that.
Yeah. Well, in our initial meetings, you know, we told her what we were looking for, and she said, well, you know, I'm not going to go coach for 20 bucks an hour somewhere, but I'll do, you know, some privates, or I'll do some workshops, or I'll do some clinics for you. And I said, okay, thanks. And, you know, we went back and talked about it, and then stayed in touch with her, and then met with her again a couple months down the road and said, what's your number? We really want you. You know, you've got incredible skills. You've got incredible. And then she was gracious enough to do some video analysis of our kids that were at sectionals. And it was really great, you know, and she wants, I don't know, she's got a lot going on.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing you need to consider, is maybe she really doesn't want to come.
No, maybe
Yeah.
not. But anyway,
But ask her that. What
just
do
wanna
you,
know.
yeah, Patty, you just ask her. Like, I'm feeling like you have mixed emotions about taking this role. If you're really not interested, that's fine. Just let me know.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's timing with her as well. So we'll see. But thank you. I really appreciate
No
your
problem.
presentation.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm actually curious how you guys vet assistant coaches, because right now we have 3 head coaches, myself, age group coach and 8 and under, but most of our other coaches are 21 and under, and we have a hard time finding more adult coaches that are interested.
I'll open that up to the audience.
We have several coaches on our staff who are parents who have swimming backgrounds, and we've had a lot of success with that, in that they're committed. They show up, they are willing to learn and get better in their skill level as coaches, and it's really benefited our team. With that, it's always nice to have young, especially female coaches. We have over 50% of our staff who are female coaches, and it's great to have young people. The kids love to have young people on board. But at one point, we had a lot of young people, and they would have work conflicts all the time and be, you know, emailing or texting at the last minute that they needed a sub, and that didn't work. So we've gone to a few more parent coaches, and it's really worked out for our club. But you do need to have head coaches or almost full-time coaches available to provide the structure for everything, but it's worked out good for us.
Do you give those parent coaches discounts on their membership if they have swimmer?
So what we've done in the past, and I'm currently revisiting this, but they get their kids swim for free, and they get an hourly rate of pay. I'm looking right now into, I had one of the parents approach me and encourage me to think about not having them get paid, but just offer them their swimmers swimming for free. And I'm thinking about that now and what that might do to us in the good or the bad. So he has a feeling that every parent, if I ask them straight out, they would say they don't need to be paid. My concern with that, though, is are we going to lose some accountability a little bit in terms of is it going to be easier for people not to show up? But he feels that that's not going to happen. And I was a parent coach for a while, and I never would have not come, and I didn't expect to get paid or have my children swim for free when I agreed to coach. So I can understand that.
Yeah, I wouldn't go the volunteer route because, again, I don't know who's got something going on in the background there. You're muted, Jennifer. Sorry, there we go. I think stay away from the volunteer aspect, because then there's less engagement and, like you said, accountability. There's not that, well, I'm just volunteering, I don't have to go in, right? And listen, not everybody's going to behave that way, but I think you need to like put in measures that protect your business. Now, if they take that money and they just apply it to their dues, then great. That's them using the money the way they want to use it.
I appreciate you giving that feedback. So you think that they should be paid hourly and not have their kids swim for free?
I think if you were going to choose between the two, I would pay them and let them use the money the way they want to use it. Now, if you want to do a combination of the two, I think that's okay, to where maybe you offer a lower rate because you're giving them free dues. That's something you're going to have to work through. But I would never just make it a volunteer so you can swim for free, because I just think unless that person's only working 2 hours a week and it's a non-pivotal role, maybe.
We do a 50-50 actually right now with the parent coaches we have, where it depends on how often you work. So if they work 1 or 2 days a week, they get 25% off their fees. And then if they work three or more, they get 50% off. And things like if they're coaching at a meet, they get their meet fees waived for their kids in the meet. And if they're not, they don't.
That's good. You should share your information with, sorry, was that Kelly who asked the question? You should
Kaylee.
share that info. Yeah. You should share that information.
Kelly,
But
do
they're-
your coaches also get an hourly rate, or is it just the partial fee?
So they get the hourly rate as well. So with all of our coaches, I make them get fully Y and USA certified so that we are never, screwed last second if we need a coach at a meet. So.
Kelly, did you want to jump in here real quick before we close out?
I just had a different question. Hopefully it's a
Go
short
ahead.
answer. What is the best way to follow up after like the final stages of the interview? Should you send a thank you? If you have updates post interview, should you provide those?
So I think you should write a thank you. I also think in that thank you, if you stumbled over, thank you for bringing this up, by the way, if you stumble over a question or if you stepped away and thought of a better response, I think include that in your email to them. And I think it's okay to ask them, like one of your questions should be at the end of your interview, like next steps, what's happening next, right? If you go to stage 2, what's next? What's stage 3, right? So you're kind of pushing them into thinking about, their process, their practices, if they haven't already thought about it. And then if it's not clarified in that meeting, I would add that to your email as well. But I think you'll always do yourself a service by saying thank you, appreciating your time. Don't make it a generic couple, 3 or 4 statements. Make it like represent something personal in the meeting. I really enjoyed meeting X, Y, and Z today. I got a great view of your, thank you for answering my questions, whatever. Make it relatable so it's specific about your call, not just something that you copied and pasted from ChatGPT. And then I think that also, again, opens the door for you to do some corrective if you feel like you stumbled over something.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we have already come to the end of the hour. So I'm going to go ahead and close it out. Thank you so much, Renata. Thanks everyone for joining in. I think this was really productive. So yeah, by the way, next month, we've already booked our speaker, who is one of us, one of the group. She's not on at the moment. I do not see her, but Amanda Caldwell was in our work group yesterday for the WIMSIM work group. And she's going to be our next speaker, and she's going to talk. She's a college coach. I think she's at Tulane. I'm not 100% sure. I think she's at Tulane. But she really wanted to talk about how club coaches can make the transition to college coaches if they're interested, college coaching, if they're interested, and what's involved in that, and just what they should be aware of. She said there's a lot of positions that are, especially right now, that are opening up in the college ranks. And so club coaches might want to consider that. There's benefits, literally benefits, to go along with college coaching. So I think it'll be an interesting talk for her because she's been on both sides, and she just wants to help educate a lot of colleges are looking for female coaches, probably more so than club. They really are trying to fill and make it a more balanced staffs in many cases. So anyway, she's going to share her tips and her knowledge and her experience on her, in her transition to college, and hopefully it'll be really, I think it will be really interesting for everybody to hear, and it'll help us engage in more conversation like we did today. All right. So if anybody else have any last minute comments or questions before we close it out?
That was fantastic, Renata. Thank you. We need to have you. You can take the whole WIM sim day by yourself.
No,
we need to triple your time slot. That was fantastic.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I mean it.
Yep, that's great. Yep, that's why we partner with Renata. She's a great resource. So we recommend her to coaches all the time. Okay, great. We'll wrap it up, and we will see everyone at our next meeting. Let me look it up real quick. It is the third Tuesday, so it is on May 21st at 1 p.m. Eastern. So same bat time, same bat channel. We'll see you then. Thanks everyone for jumping on. Have a great day. Have a great month.
Thank you. Bye-bye.